and then we'll discuss it on the other side.
We're guilty of it. I'm guilty of it. It's just levels. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and I think to define fitness, like what's happening in the fitness industry is fitness influencers don't promote fitness. They promote the appearance or the illusion of what being fit is. And so the Liver King that you just described, he looked really fit. I mean, look at the abs and look at the muscles and how strong he looks super fit, but yet he's not.
He was very unhealthy, yeah.
C-Bum's not fit. He has no energy, he has brain fog. Sam Sulik's not fit. They're on these bulk and cut chocolate milk diets. These are not fit people. And when I was an IFBB pro competing and looked enormous, I wasn't fit, but I'm fit now. And so the difference is...
Well, so how do we resolve this?
Well, I think there's some guys that promote fitness very well. For example, Will Tennyson and Jesse James. I think these guys are promoting fitness the right way, being natural. As soon as you add the word on steroids and fitness, it doesn't go together. As soon as you're on steroids and obesity are on par. If you take me, a guy who's obese and a guy who's on steroids, and you give me their blood work, they're probably about equal. And so anyone who's on steroids, fat shaming somebody who's fat, you're doing just as bad to your body as a person who's fat. If you took 100 people who are overweight and 100 bodybuilders and you say, who's going to live longer? Probably the same.
Wow. So I love that they're talking about that. You know, steroids and obesity are on par, and not even just steroids, but being over musculature or having an excessive amount of musculature, that can be just as problematic as having an excessive amount of fat on your body. You're stressing your heart out. I mean, this is why bigger dogs die faster than smaller dogs, right? Like, you could have a bunch of muscle on your frame and be lean, by the way, 8% body fat, but ultimately, if you're 50 pounds overweight, that is not going to be a good thing. And I think, what they're talking about there is a discrepancy between what people are seeing online, the people that are quote unquote fit, and what actually is fit and what is healthy. Like, I think that's the key point there. And I'm constantly talking about, I view fitness through the lens of health, not just aesthetics or strength or performance or anything. I think those are all good things. You can have some of that stuff, but ultimately none of it matters if you don't have your health. To me, fitness includes like physical, mental, spiritual, and sexual. Like, fitness originally was defined as the state or quality of being suitable or fit for reproduction. And then, oh, by the way, now you have to protect your mate. You have to protect your family. That's important. And that requires strength, and it requires speed. It requires aerobic capacity. I mean, just as an example, like, if you miss your flight because you couldn't run a half a mile, like, that's not really that long of a distance. But we've all been in situations where we're running against the clock, we running late for whatever reason, and we're having to rush. And, someone could easily, if someone's running down the terminal trying to make it to their flight, if they don't have good cardiorespiratory fitness, they could easily have a heart attack right there on the terminal floor. And so I think it's a bigger deal than people make it. And it's a frustrating thing because I only see it getting worse, especially with the proliferation of content creators being open about their steroid use. Now, I do think that is a good thing, that transparency, but ultimately it's also at the same time saying that, hey, it's okay to be on steroids as long as you're open about it. And I just don't think that's the truth. I think the only time that you should really be on something is testosterone replacement therapy if your testosterone is actually low. And, oh, by the way, you've actually taken steps to make sure that you've tried to raise your testosterone naturally. Now, if you're a 60, 70-year-old man and your testosterone is plummeted, chances are, yeah, you probably need some testosterone replacement therapy. But if you're 30 years old and you have low testosterone, okay, let's take a look at how much sunshine are you getting, vitamin D, what does your fat intake look like? Fat is extremely important for hormone production, and like, how many grams of fat, what kind of fat are you intaking? How much are you moving? Exercise. There's studies out there that show that squats and deadlifts can increase your testosterone by an enormous amount. How much outdoor time, just in general, just fresh air and hydration, and there's so many different things, supplementation, eggs. What have you done naturally to try and improve your testosterone production? And if the answer is nothing, then you should be talking about that first before you're even thinking about testosterone replacement therapy.